What is the biggest mistake you did not make as a teenager? I never joined a street gang. I was in the rare percentage of kids from my neighborhood. Good for you. I used to tutor in juvenile detention and met a lot of kids who'd made that mistake. I have worked in one for the last 10 years. These kids think they are top shit and don't know they are just being used to do the shit that's going to get them arrested/killed. Despite drinking a lot, I did not drink and drive. Me too, lost a dear friend to drinking and driving. Same, except my friend wasn't the one drinking. Sad face, instantly killed by a drunk driver while riding his motorcycle home from his McDonald's job at 2 a.m. R.I.P. Jeremy. Heroin. One night in college we couldn't find weed, but my buddy scored some meth, I guess from a bar earlier in the evening. Had never done it. I had the lighter in my hand and the glass to my lips and was starting to cook it. I stopped and said, "This is a bad idea." Set it down and left. One of them is dead now and the other in prison. Granted, I'm a recovering alcoholic myself, so I'm not judging, just saying it may have been the best decision I ever made not to inhale. Dang, I had a similar experience. I used to smoke weed in college, and most people would come to my room to do it. One day a friend comes over and had some meth. I passed on it. He did a bunch and was up for 3 days and ended up smashing open the vending machine in the lobby and got booted out of school. Getting angry and chasing a crowd of people with a wheelbarrow. That sounds like exactly what someone who got angry and chased a crowd of people with a wheelbarrow would say. Yeah, that's exactly what type of person I am. Sending nudes. Found out the boys in our school had a shared email they all had the password to, where they passed around all of the nudes they got. Found out 2 of the guys I talked to who asked me for them were a part of that group. So glad I never took nudes or sent them. Girl at a nearby HS sent a video of herself to her boyfriend. This was when recording and sharing videos by phone was relatively new. They broke up shortly after and, of course, he shared it with other people. Parents complained she shouldn't be captain of cheerleading squad anymore. Story made the newspaper. I don't know how it all played out, but I'm sure it was a nightmare for her dealing with all that. People are horrible. Let's shame an underage victim and spread around what happened to traumatize her further. I was at a house party and I wasn't drunk at all. I was late to the party and had only just started. This absolute 10 out of 10 girl came on to me and wanted to take me upstairs to suck and fuck, but I cannot tell you how drunk she was. I really would have wanted to under any other circumstance, but the fact she was so drunk just put me really at ease, and I said no, and she started calling me an arsehole and that I was a cunt, etc. About a week later she added me on Facebook and apologized for calling me names and thanked me for not taking advantage of the situation. In HS I was pretty and an extrovert, so in my friend group I always had the invites to parties for us either in town or within a town over. So one night my buddy's cousin was turning 21 and that sounded like the perfect party for schoolers to crash. Once there, the cousin was obliterated drunk and was wandering around getting pictures with everyone so she could see them when she sobered up. After our pic she came on to me and there was no way I would have, even if I wasn't friends with her family. So we partied for about an hour or so, then left. It turned out she had been coming on to a few guys trying to have some birthday fun, only didn't tell her Russian gangster BF about it, so when he saw someone making out with her, he shot the place up. Like 10 plus victims at the end of the chaos type shot it up. My whorish buddies had thought about going for it but also wouldn't do it as she was way too sauced up. Dodged literal bullets. Didn't get a girl pregnant. Pretty easy to do at an all-boys school. Okay, but how many boys did you get pregnant? All of them. I'm the first woman in my family to beat teen pregnancy. I'm the only one of 4 sisters who made it to 19, well, technically, 49 for a few more days, without popping out a kid. My oldest sister had one at 13 or 14. My younger sister miscarried one, then had her first on her 19th birthday. Have kids, catch STDs. Join gangs, get arrested, become a drug addict, drop out. I think teenagers are so quick to do adult things that they don't realize that adult things are some, if not all, of the worst things in life. As I often say, Wyatt, when you see the label adult content, you're about to see really immature behavior. Also, here's a life hack. Be an adult about all the stupid shit like paying your bills, showing up for work, etc., but other than that, do not grow up. Get any girl pregnant. My mom gave me the sex talk. If I got any girl pregnant, she would kick me so hard, in the thing I used to get the girl pregnant with, I would never be able to use it again. I believed her. My grandmother gave my brothers a speech about how there will be women who try to get close to you, but you must think of your futures. Imagine if you are saddled with a family as a teenager. This was when they were in their early teens. A couple years later they were teasing her like, Grandma, where are all these women trying to get close to us exactly? Drugs. I thank my aunt for that. She popped pills like they were candy. My grandma was going to pick her up one morning. There was no answer at the door, so she went on in. She was sitting on the love seat leaning down, and my grandma thought she was just high and nodding off. She was cold and stiff and had been gone all night. My granny had a heart attack and could have passed as well. I'll never put my family through that. I know the truth about drugs. If you don't get help, you won't survive. It's a medical certainty. Thank you. Some think of 1 or 2 at a time won't do nothing to make the pain go away and gives me a little floaty feeling, nothing more. I like you had family members who were not only great teachers because they were addicts and showed me and my brother how we didn't want to live our lives. They were addicts for years, one even got sober for 10 to 11 years, was doing great, had a great job, bought a house, but then her albatross got out of jail and started his shit of why do you need to go to meetings? Why can't you have a cocktail after work with me? 10 years flew right out that window. Within 2 to 4 years of her abusing drugs, her grandson found her OD'd on the parlor floor. He had to call 911 on her to save her, which he did that time, but no one could save her from herself or the drugs, and they did end up killing her. I didn't go to parties until I graduated high school, and I limited how often I'd drink. I turned down drugs like cocaine, because I didn't want to find out if I enjoyed such an expensive habit. I'd often disappoint my friends when I didn't want to get fucked up with them, but they didn't see the effect my father's alcoholism had on my youth. My real boys had my back to tell the rest to fuck off when I wasn't going to drink. Decades later, I rarely drink, and the only addiction I had was World of Warcraft through vanilla/TBC/whatlk. Still addicted to WoW, it's an impossible habit to break. Congrats on being headstrong and keeping to your morals, not everyone can say that nowadays. After fucking up my sophomore year in high school, cutting all my classes, ending my first semester with 0 credits accumulated and a sub 1.5 GPA, instead of giving up and going down the self-destructive path I was on, I committed myself to academics, passed all my second semester sophomore classes with a combination of AS, BS, and CS before kicking ass my junior and senior years with a bunch of APs, and coupled with a high SAT, made it into a pretty good university. This was freshman year for me. Didn't fail any classes but was listless and just generally unmotivated. Not sure what the fuck happened, but a light switch came on and I decided to just try. Ended up making straight A's my entire sophomore year. I loaded up on advanced classes junior and senior years, focusing heavily on math and science. To this day I'm not sure what happened, I just felt like academically challenging myself spontaneously. Maybe my sophomore classes were more interesting or something. Using a vape. E-cigarettes were just getting popular as a drug in their own right instead of just a tool to quit smoking when I was in senior year, and at the time were still regarded as safe and non-habit forming by many. By the time I finished college, Juul was practically ubiquitous among people my age. I didn't use vapes because the thought of inhaling smoke of any kind makes my skin crawl a little and it's expensive. Now we know vaping can in fact cause lung problems, and my old classmates are just as addictive as they would be to any other drug.